Hi, my name is Chris Revels, and I live in Greenwood, South Carolina, and I'm going to tell you a true story about the corruption and the lies of the Social Security disability system, and how it has devastated me, my wife, and my 5-year-old daughter. If you'll forgive me for looking down from time to time, I've written a lot of this down so I do not stray and I do not go off on a rant and rave for hours. On 9/11 in 2010, I was in an industrial accident and that resulted in permanent spinal cord damage in my neck. I have had 3 surgeries since then. First was a fusion at C4-5-5-6 level with screws and plates. The next included 2 laminectomy, is where they remove the bones, the pointy bones off your neck, and to implant a spinal cord stimulator. This stimulator sits at the base of my brain, at the very top of my spine, just below my skull, and sits against the spinal cord. With this, I have wires that run down through my muscles and go to a battery pack that's in my right butt cheek. I was given a 78% total body disability rating and have a very limited use and feeling in my hands or my feet. Since my injury, I have not been able to support my family, so in 2011 I filed for my Social Security disability. During this long process, I thought I could further my education and possibly get another job one day. Maybe find something I could do to help my family financially. I started with mechanical engineering, then mechatronics, and then electrical engineering. Both of these proved to be too physically demanding for me, and also the stimulator in my neck could not be around the high magnetic fields generated by some of this equipment. I gave my wife all I had to start her own business. I'd love to have helped her, but again, it was too demanding for me physically. All of my doctors have stated that I cannot work because of my disabilities, and I need to be resting as much as possible. As of now, I spend 60 to 70% of my time in bed, flat on my back, because of the immense pain I'm in 24/7. I've had 2 mild heart attacks, and I now suffer from severe depression because of these lies and misconceptions that were instigated and testified by law enforcement officials. I've done everything that a good hard-working father and husband should do to not have to depend on my Social Security disability. However, I have no choice. In the past 3 or more years, I've been denied 4 separate times for no apparent reason except I'm educated and white. Now, this is not a racial video, and my education has nothing to do with my physical capabilities. I'm physically unable to work. During the filings and hearings, the judge assigned an investigator from the Comprehensive Disability Investigations Unit of the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. During this investigation, my wife and I went to our local law enforcement officer for a meet and greet out of consideration because my wife's new business was a firearms-related business. This meeting was recorded without our knowledge. All of the crucial audio from that video was removed, and the investigator lied under oath about what was said at that meeting, took words out of context, and put words into my mouth. When we went to court, this investigator's superior officer had written the judge an email stating that I had 4 construction projects going on, which was completely made up and complete lies. The judge denied our request to subpoena his so-called witnesses. She would not hear from my witnesses. She would not hear from my witnesses, even my wife. My wife was an eyewitness to the meeting that happened that this guy lied about, and she would not even consider hearing my eyewitness testimony in my case. Basically, this investigator fed her a bunch of lies, and I was not allowed to defend myself at all. She did not even ask for any proof of the investigator's so-called evidence. So you're not innocent until proven guilty, You're guilty until you prove yourself innocent. The investigator submitted a video of me putting 2 small drywall screws into a cloth flag that said "open" in the front of my wife's new business, and then putting a small stepladder into the back of my truck, both of which were within my doctor's limitations. If they weren't, I wouldn't have been able to do them. I can hardly even lift a gallon of milk without using 2 hands. I can't pour a glass of tea without using 2 hands. Took this judge forever to arrive at a non-favorable decision. It took her so long, she gave me what was called a protected filing date, so I could file again, which, come to find out, isn't even valid or honored by the Social Security Department. The protected filing date. Right. So my family is basically screwed because of all the lies and deceit of these so-called law enforcement officials. He also made the law enforcement officials of my local district look guilty by the tampering of evidence and helping him tamper with evidence and removing audio from video. Since the non-favorable decision, my lawyer sent my case to the Appeals Council, which is where it sits now. This can take upwards of 2 years for them to see it, and even if they can choose not to look at it at all. The judge that I had since has been fired by the state of Oregon. She was in Portland. It's extremely hard to get fired as a federal judge, so someone pretty high up knew she was not right and something was going on. Did this help me? No, it did not. This should constitute a mistrial by itself. So now you know the truth about our sick and disrespectful and unhonest, period, Social Security system. It's corrupt on every level, from the federal level all the way to our local government. I would ask that a district attorney would file and act for what they call a grand jury indictment of these officials. There needs to be an internal investigation on ethics. I've contacted my senators, I've contacted my congressman, I've contacted Governor Nikki Haley, and I've heard nothing from anyone. This is a serious, serious offense in ethics behavior. If someone or something like this has happened to you, I'd like to hear from you. If you're a lawyer or an attorney and you think you can help me with civil or criminal charges or suits against these individuals and entities, I would ask that you would contact me immediately. I thank you so much for your time. I thank you for your listening. And the United States and the state of South Carolina needs to know how corrupt our Social Security disability system has become. I'm tired of the lies. I can't take it anymore. And you should not either. Thank you so much for your time.